Queen. Yo, this is the Queen Latifah, and you watching Inside Cars.
Thanks, Queen Latifah. And now for one of the most famous voices in motor racing, Chris McClure. Chris, what can we expect from you on Inside Cars?
Well, my charge is to bring you the highlights on a week-to-week, event-by-event basis. And, of course, we'll spend time on the nuts and bolts and look at the great passes, the great effort of all these talented drivers. But also, we're going to try and capture the nuances of each challenge as they unfold throughout the year. Try and understand the personality of each event as we get there.
Well, that's exciting enough for me. Let's cut to the highlights.
Michael Andretti long ago established his ability to debut a race car. Significant evidence of that came in Miami last year, guiding the unproven Swift to the peak of the podium. This year, Andretti could not do it on behalf of the car, but could on a redesigned track. Measuring his steps from row 4, Michael joined a quartet of pilots who led through 2/3 of the race. Andretti quit sharing 43 laps from the end, removing Zanardi from the point. He never trailed again. Zanardi would finish 3rd. Mike admitted he was a bit too conservative at the end, as Canadian hot shoe Greg Moore closed hard over the last few hundred yards. The fact that Moore was there at all was something of a miracle, following a stuck air jack disaster on the first pit stop. Andretti's second straight Miami win was the 37th of his career, and it rather pleased Swift, Goodyear, Ford, and Newman Haas enthusiasts. Take 2 on 98 was take 1 on Japan. It was an historic opportunity and offered a young Mexican racer a moment of truth. Adrian Fernandez did not lead the start, Jimmy Vasser did, but Fernandez closed the first lap of record in Japan on the point. He led more laps than anyone else, and Fernandez sustained his lead at 2 especially critical junctures. Alex Zanardi's tangle with concrete just past half distance forced the yellow and set the table on moment 1. Fernandez's execution on the restart was just right, and the experience paid dividends a short while later. 25 miles from home, Bobby Rahall's savage whack startled everybody. He was okay, and it set the table for moment number 2. Poised on Fernandez's hip, Al Unser Jr., a winner 31 times, twice a champion. It was a moment Fernandez had to seize. The pressure was enormous. 10 minutes later, the whole world knew. He'd won in Japan, he'd won for Patrick Racing, and it put him in the championship lead for the first time ever. Unser ran 2nd, Gilles de Ferran 3rd. The first lap of the 1998 FedEx Championship season came in the familiar surroundings of Long Beach, the final race on what is now the old track. It produced the 3rd different winner of the young season. Surname Zanardi, first name Alex, especially known as the defending series champion, more and more known as a comeback specialist. Recall Cleveland '97, when Zanardi dug a hole so deep it appeared hopeless before he stormed back from 22nd place to win. The Beach '98 was a remarkable reprise. Zanardi started 11th, went back as far as 18th, put on fresh tires during his 4th pit stop, and passed Brian Herta with 2 laps remaining. Zanardi said he couldn't explain it. How could a day go so wrong and turn out so right? His joy, balanced by Herta's frustration. He remains winless in the series, and twice it's been Zanardi who denied him at the last possible moment. The bull ring of Nazareth and Mother Nature worked in tandem to make round 4 of the season an ordeal. Everything there worked in pairs, as a matter of fact. Team Forsyth shared the front row. Patrick Carpentier had pole but finished 13th. Teammate Greg Moore ran well enough for 3rd. Patrick Racing had trouble. Adrian Fernandez lasted only 1 turn before leaving, and a fuel fire put Scott Pruitt's car out before the race was half done. Pac West Racing suffered even more. Mark Blundell followed near disaster in the pits with an unwelcome trip to the wall. Mauricio Guzman smacked the retaining wall very heavily late in the race. Michael Andretti's bid for a 2nd win this year slipped away on cold tires, and Alex Zanardi's similar bid went astray when he had to pit. But that gave the lead to his teammate, Jimmy Vasser, and they went 1-2 through the checkered flag and to the victory stand. The final order, top 6, Vasser, Zanardi, Moore, with Gilles de Ferran, Paul Tracy, and Bobby Rahal rounding out that first group. The new points, a new leader in the championship. Greg Moore at 51 is on top, 1 ahead of Alex Zanardi, the defending champion. Adrian Fernandez had led going to Nazareth, then Gilles de Ferran and Jimmy Vasser. Michael Andretti dropped out of the top 5.